Hey guys, just waiting for a few more people to join, then we'll go do a little bit of a Q&A. Does anybody hear me? Can someone say something that the quality of the sound is good? And we'll do a short Q&A.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach Platypus. Welcome to Zen Chat. I am recording it so that other people can listen to it later if they have similar questions. So do we have Liam on? Liam was asking questions about the Sybil attack and claiming early C rank to see if the users or network participants can actually make more money somehow, or more crypto, if you will. Yeah, so Liam's question was, what happens to the supply if early people join and there's somebody who's a shadowy supercoder that's just claims everything very, very quickly? Is there an advantage to claiming super early and jump in as fast as you can? So first of all, the gas price dictates how quickly you can get anything, because if you, for example, load up a bot or any sort of program or software that you develop to claim C rank, and if you execute it too quickly, then you will end up paying thousands of dollars. So for example, 1,000 addresses can easily rack up $10,000 spent on gas. And there's no guarantee that when you claim your Zen at the end, actually, you're not going to have to pay another $10,000. So that definitely will stop people from abusing the system. At the same time, I would say there's no concept of supply. There's no early adopters, really amplifiers to a degree that it makes sense to attack the protocol. There is 10% early adopter bonus reward system. However, the 10% that we give gets reduced every 100,000 users, I think by 0.1% or something like that. So it's actually not making it unfair for anybody who has like 100 addresses, 500 addresses to join and to claim the C rank. And because there's no limited supply and there's no emission control of any kind, everybody who wants to participate, even if they're claiming rank later, like for example, not on the day of launch, but the next day or a week later, they will still have the same type of formula applied. Like there's no reduction of some sort of a supply that sits there and waits to be consumed by early adopters. That's not how it works. The supply is unlimited, but over the period of 8 years, the emission capability is reduced. So after 8 years, I think at most you will be able to make is 10 Zen per day, where originally in the beginning, the first year, you will be making 30,000 Zen per day. So that's my estimate, but those numbers can vary. So where's Liam? I want Liam to jump on this call so that he can ask me this question directly. Does anybody else have any questions? We had our audit preliminary report received yesterday. It looks really good. I am really happy that they didn't find anything that's difficult that we need to fix. It's just a tiny little adjustment to comments and a few things that we need to tweak for the term limits, which is we already have a fix, so we're fixing it today.
Well, I don't know if you can hear me. I just unmuted myself.
I hear you just fine. So UFO 42, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. I am probably asking the question that many people have asked before because I'm pretty new to the thing. I had a quick look at the audit, which looks fine. It is more like a technical audit. And if I understand, there will be the first 5,000 addresses granted. So where is the protection against the fastest spot gets all with different addresses?
The protection against what exactly? Could you repeat?
You have a bot that goes into different IP addresses via VPNs and claims with 5,000 addresses in the first seconds, and basically then the 5,000 addresses that can claim are all claimed.
Okay, well, there's no magic in 5,000 addresses. But before we get into the protocol, I would say that VPN has nothing to do with it. We do not track user IPs. So that being the case, it doesn't matter what it is that that people do with VPN or not. Now, 5,000 addresses is just a measure when we open up the protocol for longer term limits. Like specifically before 5,000, it's 100 days. So you're actually limited how long your term limit is to mint, which actually makes the rewards less than 300, for example. So even if everybody claims 5,000 addresses the first hour, it doesn't mean anything in terms of the amplification or anything else. In fact, it actually unlocks the term limit to mint for longer. So you'll be able to mint for 300 days, which will give you 3 times more rewards, probably even more than that, than 100 days in the beginning. So the reason why we chose 5,000 addresses and the 100-day term limit is because we wanted people to be forced to claim at least within 3 months or after 3 months, but not after a year. This way we actually have liquidity on Uniswap and people can sell and buy Zen as part of the whole ecosystem being vibrant, because we feel like having liquidity is part of the healthy ecosystem, not just like everybody hodling and nobody's doing anything. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to ask me anything?
Quick question. So are we only going to be on the ETH side, or are we going to be forking into any other protocols? I saw something like the Pulse chain testnet on your personal testnet. Is that going to be one of the places where you're going to be able to trade on PulseX once it gets launched?
Coach Platypus, thanks for your answer. The plan with the multi-chain strategy is that first we're going to release on Ethereum. Very shortly after, we're going to release the contract on the Polygon network or Polygon blockchain. Then it's going to be BSC or Binance. We will remain on Pulse chain testnet until it goes live. When it goes live, they say that they're going to copy the state of the Ethereum blockchain, which means that everything you've done on Ethereum, all of the Zen crypto that you have there should be copied over to Pulse chain. So that should be not an issue, but philosophically, we are omni-chain inclined. In other words, we do not want to discriminate between the chains, especially the popular ones, because some people just stay on Binance, they don't go anywhere. So we want to introduce Zen pretty much on all the chains that people are capable to, to participate in the protocol.
Perfect.
All right. Any other questions?
So what's the benefit for having 100 days instead of, or a 30-day minting period over a 100-day minting period? What's the game theory behind that?
Okay, good question. Actually, it's one of my favorite questions. So the game theory behind that, and just to repeat it, what is the benefit of minting for longer, like 100 days versus, let's say, 60 days, 30 days, or 10 days? So let's look at the extremes. Let's say that you choose 5 days, right? So 5 days, first of all, is that you have 5x multiplier because we use days as a multiplier. So clearly, it's going to be less than 100, right? So anything you make, it's going to be 20 times less. But you paid the same gas. So for the same gas you paid, you made 20 times less, or you minted 20 times less, which is not ideal. Now, the other thing that plays into effect is that the delta rank, which is the difference between your claimed crypto rank and the counter of all the new wallets connecting, is going to be much larger when you specify longer number of days. So the term limit, the larger it is, the larger the number of participants likely to join and therefore amplify your rewards at the end. So my recommendation, I mean, if you want to play, you can definitely play on any number of days, whatever you want, right? It doesn't matter. But if you want to maximize your output, you should choose the maximum number of days, which in the beginning is going to be 100. If the gas fees is an issue, then just go ahead and go to Polygon or go to Binance and try to do it there. And there you can specify 1 day if you want. It's going to cost you like 10 cents. So just to see if everything's working. And of course, Zen and Polygon is not going to be as worth as much as Ethereum, for example.
I would have one more last question. When and where will the start be officially announced?
You hopefully too asked when and where it's going to, I assume you're asking about the launch being announced. So the launch will be announced in our Telegram group, obviously. We'll also announce it on our official Twitter, which is linked off my Twitter, and you probably have seen it. So Zen Crypto is we'll post it. But the way that we're going to do it, once we are totally in agreement which day it's going to go live, we're going to put a counter or a countdown, which will be also announced so that people can actually see the minutes and days and hours counting down, and then they'll know exactly when it's going live. So that's what will make it fair.
One quick question about the minting process. Is it going to be kind of like the same kind of concept as Hex, where you can't mint your coins until after the 100 days? And then I know 7 days after, if you do not mint your coins, what happens to those coins that are not minted?
Okay, so before the coins are minted, they do not exist. The claim of the mint must happen on the day of the mint that you have selected to be. So in 100 days, it has to be exactly after 100 days. If you wait several days, there will be penalties. And after the 7-day period, the penalty is going to be 100%, which means that the mint is not going to happen. The contract will not mint anything for you. So what that means is that those coins or that crypto just would have never come to be, right? So like essentially you just spend your time paying gas for nothing. If you're late. If you're not late, then you're fine. You just mint for yourself and you're good to go. So coins that are unminted are not distributed to anyone like it is with Hex. They're just not executed when it comes to crypto creation.
Got it. I'm just trying to ask the questions that I feel like need to be asked for the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can ask me anything. Like you can, ask me what I had for breakfast, what I'm going to do tomorrow, like anything you want. So I just wanted to be, kind of like an easygoing chat anyway. So whatever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about it. But obviously the news is that we got the audit back and we're working on fixing the minor details that they pointed out we should be fixing. And within days, we're going to have the final audit, hopefully from them, and then we'll be announcing the final release date.
Hey, I'm new to this, and I have just a question about like when you want to mint, do you have to commit something of your own money, or do you just mint and then participate in the system?
You just participate in the system. You don't have to commit any money. The only thing you need to do is pay for gas. That's all you need to do.
Okay, so essentially it means like whoever creates the most wallets are going to be able to mint the most.
Yes, but they run the biggest risk because the gas price at the time of the mint may be huge, and they'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars for crypto that is not worth anything. So the game theory here is almost like a prisoner's dilemma. Should you go to Uniswap and just buy a bunch, or should you just waste your time and manage all your wallets and potentially acquire a crypto that will not pay you back in gas, because gas fees are completely variable. And if a lot of people jump in all at the same time, you may end up paying $50 per transaction. It is possible. Right now it's $5, and on the weekend it's usually $2. So, but if a lot of people push the transaction rate above 15 per second on Ethereum, that actually means that either if you have a limited gas setting, it will not execute for a while, or you actually have to pay a ton of gas just for each transaction. So at the same time,
yeah, go ahead.
At the same time, I would say that if you are that person and money is not an object, and you're having 1,000 wallets, which you totally can, you will be helping the rest of the community to mint more, because you're amplifying the global rank delta between their C rank and global rank for everyone. So everyone will benefit from mint amplification just because you are paying for the gas. So you connect a bunch of wallets, and that actually amplifies the rewards for everyone else too. So you're technically diluting yourself. Now let's say that you have done that, and you have done it in October, and now it's November. Are you going to do it every month? If you don't, and the network grows, then you're just being diluted, because within the first year, the inflation is going to be really, really, really huge. And so whatever's that you're making, you'll definitely have money that you cannot earn back just because you paid it for gas and you gave it to the Ethereum validators. So that is something to think about. Do you want to throw the money out and take a chance, or you could just wait a couple of months? I mean, if you really want to acquire Zen, you can simply just go to Uniswap and buy a bunch, and then you'll for sure know that it's worth something.
Yeah, but if you want to take a risk on a new system, I mean, if you're rich, those gas costs are not going to be that too big of a deal in order to own a big portion of the supply. But I have another question. Do you mint, like, do you pay a gas cost like every day of those 100 days? Do you have to do some sort of action in order to participate all days, or you just do it once and then you're set for the next 100 days?
You do it once, yeah, just once.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, just when you first start, you pay for the gas once, and then when you end, you pay the gas price, the gas fee again, because you need to claim. All right.
Yeah.
Anyone else with questions?
But he can do it more times per day, or even every day, or whatever. So
I mean, certainly can be done every day, but the question is, can you really manage the gas prices? So, because gas prices can go up and down, and you can definitely set a gas spend limit, and then your transactions will be sitting around for a while. But then it's actually so much more work because you have to know exactly what executes when. But again, I mean, like, a single person cannot outrun the community, because the community with multiple wallets, like if every person even mints with 5 wallets, which is like reasonable, maybe even with 10, then within hours you will be outgunned in terms of your total potential as a holder of Zen in terms of percentages, because you will always be diluted. So somebody, who is smart with their money, they're going to be thinking, okay, perhaps the better way is not to jump in with 1,000 and 1,000 of wallets, because you're just giving the gas money away. Perhaps what's better is wait for the liquidity to appear on Uniswap and then DCA, or dollar cost average, at really low prices. So I feel like that's a more viable strategy. And obviously, if a lot of people are selling millions of Zen tokens on Uniswap, then the buyers can come in and buy it. Nothing can stop those people from making that decision. So I would say it's very similar, except with the protocol participation, you're actually amplifying the rewards for the rest of the community, and that's good. And it also indicates to the Etherscan that there's so many more transactions are happening, like not with any other coin, right? So that actually brings interest in more people into the protocol so that they can participate. All right, a few more questions, guys, and I'll probably close down this chat. So if anybody have anything burning they want to ask, hey, Crypto Roast, welcome to the chat. Maybe you have a question.
No questions. I'm up to date. Thanks, Jack.
All right. We should do another interview at some point. All right. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions? I hope you liked the Zenducation hit number 2. I definitely have enjoyed it. Zen 2 definitely did a good job getting it done, and he worked quite a bit on making it perfect. And I think the end result speaks for itself. I gave the video recording YouTube link to a bunch of my friends. They listened to it. They don't have any crypto, and they understand it. So he speaks to normies, and normies can really understand what this whole thing is all about. So I would say if you guys want to introduce what this project is all about, I would say Zenducation hit number 1, Zenducation hit number 2 is something that everybody should listen. It's about, I think, maybe 3.5 hours all in all together, but really amazing content. So I posted it on the official Twitter's account too. So you guys can get it from there as well. Hey, Michael, welcome to the chat.
Are the links pinned in the main Telegram chat or no?
All links are pinned, yes.
I got one more question. Can you just give a little rundown? What is different between Zen and Bitcoin with just regards of the circulating supply, and then how the liquidity can translate further down the road?
Sure, Coach Platypus, you have like the best questions, so really good. So Bitcoin, they had the obviously limited supply, so 21 million coins or something like that. Of course, they have 18 zeros, so you can almost infinitely break it apart. The major difference in my mind is that, first of all, you're mining with electricity, and electricity goes up in price all the time. And then you're competing against other miners. And then the miners, because they spend so much money, they have to sell Bitcoin, and they depress Bitcoin down. So I think a lot of people call it negative externality. That is when the economics will require Bitcoin to continuously to rally to get more secure. In case of the bear markets, when things don't rally, the miners just dump more and more Bitcoin and depress the price even further. So that sort of, I guess, economics within crypto is really not optimal. It just exaggerates the moves, either on the upside or on the downside. The other thing is that when the miners join together to mine, they take away from each other's ability because the supply is limited and the difficulty is always goes up, because you cannot... I forget exactly how many blocks you can do. I think it's like 10 minutes per block, and each block used to be 50 coins, then it became 25, then 12.5, then like 6.125. So less and less. And what happens is, like, if you bring your friends to mine Bitcoin, you're actually giving them away the rewards that you could be getting. So what we have done with Zen Crypto is we have, first of all, created this. We didn't create the supply. We just made the supply not to be limited within the first 8 years, but the supply that you can mine for yourself declines day. Actually, with Bitcoin, the supply would have been actually is declining based on difficulty, as well as the halvening that happens every 4 years. With us, it's not every 4 years; it's every day. So every day there's a fraction of a percent less amplification that you can get. The other thing that's important to note is that the tokenomics and the whole economic setup has been done where the difficulty is just managed by time. So the more time passes since inception or genesis of the crypto of Zen, the harder it is to make the same amount as if you were closer to genesis, just because the amplifier AMP is dropping by 1 every day. However, if you bring in your friends and the network grows, the network with all the people combined, or all the wallets combined, amplifies rewards for everyone. So we have separated the difficulty from the fact that you now have a lot of incentives to bring more people into Zen, and then you will help them, and they'll help you, and they'll help everybody, and everybody help everybody. So it has this like social engagement protocol that allows people to not to be afraid to tell everyone else that, hey, come and go ahead and join the party, because together we're stronger. And so that is the main difference between Bitcoin and Zen. And obviously Zen is the proof of participation protocol. It's not the electric consumption. Whoever produces the most hashes wins, that type of thing. So here, this is more like the more friends you bring, the better you are, and obviously the more gas you pay. And obviously Bitcoin has its own blockchain that it needed to secure. Here we have the separation of the protocol, Zen protocol, and the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum blockchain secures us and makes sure that the consensus is what it is and it works, and the rest of the code is kind of like in a silo or in a safe. It works just without any regard to the amount of energy or any sort of staking that you need to do to validate the transactions. So those are the major differences, but the first principles remain the same. we wanted the Zen to be more of a peer-to-peer cash and have it freely available for everyone, and not really have people focusing on hodling, because I think personally what stops crypto from being adapted is the desire of people just not to use it. So like nobody wants to use Bitcoin because it rallies so hard, right? So in this case, knowing that you can mint more, albeit it's going to be more difficult in the future, you can still give a bunch of it to your friends and not feel, sad about it. All right, you guys, one more question, and I think we're going to be done for today, just because this thing was not really scheduled. It was more of an impromptu. So somebody go ahead and see if there's anything you want to know.
Yeah, Jack, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Just curious, what do you plan to do whenever Zen launches?
I plan to have a cup of tea, and maybe it will be matcha, actually.
Yeah, that sounds good.
If you're asking about my strategy, I think I'm going to mint with some wallets, and I will definitely stake. So that's my plan, because I want to take advantage of the 20% staking APY, because staking APY actually drops every 90 days by 1%. So I want to make sure that whatever it is that I mint for myself, or if I were to give an advice to anyone, I would say mint for as long as you can, which is 100 days. You'll have to settle for 19%, because 19% is actually a 90-day period, but your longest mint term limit is 100 days. So within 100 days, you're going to make more Zen for sure. So that 19% versus 20% does not make a difference. But then right after, I think my plan, or anything that I would recommend to do, is when you mint, stake right away. And then choose the staking period wisely too, because if you stake for like 300 days, then you're going to have to unstake after 300 days. But you're going to miss out on the APY being locked. So I'm not going to recommend and say, hey, you definitely need to do 1,000 days, which is the max, which is close to 3 years. But at 1,000 days, you're locking this 20 or 19% for a long, long time, and you would never see it again. So definitely consider staking, because it will amplify the yield, or amplify the yield for yourself, obviously.
Yeah, thank you for the answer.
Wait, so you can have multiple wallets, and then once the this minting phase ends, you can consolidate from all those wallets into one wallet, and then maximize the advantage of the bonus?
Yeah, that is one way to do it. So if you start with, like, let's say 10 wallets, what you can do is you can mint, claim mint after 100 days, let's say. And then when you do it, you can, there's an option to claim, mint, and send. So you can consolidate into a single wallet. So everything that your wallets are doing are sent to one. And then from that one wallet, you can immediately, or at any time you want, execute the staking function and get your 20 or 19%. All right, guys, that was a good chat. I'm gonna close it down right now. I will be available, obviously, in the Telegram group. But before I go, I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that Telegram is full of scammers. And some user reported to me that someone pretended to be me, was asking them to connect their MetaMask or their wallet to some sort of website to verify their funds before the project launches. That was definitely not me. It was definitely a scam, and I would never ask anybody to verify anybody's funds anywhere. So when talking over DM, be very careful. And I'm saying like direct messages, only talk to people you know. And even then, like really look at their username to make sure that it's the same username, because that other person used my avatar's picture pretending to be me. So be careful. Best to ask, if you have any questions, best to ask them within the group so that people can jump in. Do not try to contact people individually, because we don't know who is real and who is not. And yeah, that's, Telegram is just like that. You have to be careful. All right, guys, great seeing you, and I'll see you online later. Thank you.